everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of coyotestarastrology, and this is my video for the full moon in Leo coming in on January 25th, 2024, which is a Thursday here in California. However, you'll want to adjust for your current location on the planet as that time and date may change for you. We are just a couple of days before this full moon, so we are definitely feeling it by now. And we are also very much feeling the recent change which occurred on January 20th, which was Pluto going into Aquarius. I'm going to be talking about both in great detail. That alone is a lot. We're also going to talk about the tarot that this full moon is illuminating for us. And yeah, we've got a lot to unpack here today. This is not your average full moon in Leo. When we think of Leo, we think of just like really sunny, positive vibrations, right? Well, if that's not how you're feeling, you're not alone. And that's because this full moon actually does have a lot of shadow with it. And not only shadow, there's actually a lot of positivity here as well. There's a lot of really profound things happening behind the surface of this full moon, actually. But our nervous systems need some extra care right now. I'm going to go into why that is, but I just wanted to put that on the table right up front, that we are calibrating more than we think we are at this moment in time. And so this affects people in different ways, and I'm definitely seeing in my reality, people around me, that those that typically are a little bit more sensitive are feeling a lot at this time, and their bodies are responding in interesting ways. I know that some people are finding their sleep disrupted or having anxieties stir for them. And others might just be feeling a lot and not really know what they're feeling, but they're just feeling a lot. And there might be a lot of things shifting around in your life externally, which we're going to get into in a moment. But anyways, all this to say, there's a lot happening. This isn't just a sunny, whatever, full moon in Leo, feel really confident and go out there and be your best self full moon. Absolutely not. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I do want to mention one thing because it is a time-sensitive thing, so bear with me. I will do it quickly, but I do have a quick announcement. If you were unable to attend my Year of the Dragon 2024 astrology webinar, where I go through the astrological transits for January to June, I have that recording available, and I'm mentioning it again just because, January is almost over. So if you want to get this webinar and make the most of it, now's the time to get it. It's going to set you up with every major transit and even minor transits that you want to know about between now and June, and there is a lot of them. I give you as an attachment 3 pages of events to look out for and transits to look out for, as well as new and full moon intention setting and release themes. If you would like a copy before we get more into the year and it starts to become a little bit less relevant, you can get that from me at coyotestarastrology@gmail.com. Shoot me an email if you'd like to make the subject line dragon. It just makes it easier for me to find your email faster. All right, let's dive into this, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, the first thing I want to make you aware of so you can start to move like a pro with astrology and start to really get as much from this beautiful tool as you can. I want you to think back to middle of the month in August of 2023. There was a new moon in Leo on August 15th, and I'm going to actually pull that up in the chart for you right now. Got it all ready to go over here. This was a very interesting time. So you'll want to think back, and sometimes it's helpful to look back in your journals or your Facebook or whatever the hell you need to do to get kind of like a snapshot of what was going on for you in the middle of August. And look at this. So this was a new moon in Leo conjunct Venus, but Venus was retrograde. You guys remember that Venus retrograde in Leo? And she was squared Jupiter. So this was a very dramatic time for relationships. where there was a lot of karmic themes playing out in relationships. There was a new beginning. And you can see with Venus at the new moon, there was this seed planted with all of those relationship themes, and there was some drama. And, even outside of relationships, because obviously Leo rules a certain area of your chart. So we can expand this to just, there was a very kind of like robust, dramatic seed that was planted in middle of August that this full moon is shining a light on, and more importantly, releasing those energies. So we're going to be shown some things about situations that were likely present in middle of August so we can learn from them. The light of the moon is going to light up whatever it is we need to see about that Venus in retrograde and things that were happening in August. And then whatever needs to be let go of is going to be coming up so that we can let go of it. Okay. Now, the other reason that I mention that this is not a very, sunshiny, Leo, sparkly energy is that the full moon in Leo, right here at 5 degrees, is opposite Pluto. So this is almost like a Leo moon mixed with Scorpio. Okay. So if you are a student of astrology, which I assume that you are, I want you to fill in for a moment to think about that. The combination of Leo and Scorpio. And also, here we're dealing with the fixed cross axis, actually, because the moon itself is also square Jupiter, which is still in Taurus. Just so happens to be that Jupiter decides to position himself right square this full moon. That makes this full moon kind of like a supersized, magnified full moon. It's going to be a little bit extra, okay? And that makes up, that's a T-square. That's what we're seeing here in the chart. So the other side, the missing leg of this table, we've got Leo, we've got Aquarius. I'm going to talk a lot about Aquarius. Stay tuned. We've got Taurus. Who's missing on the other side? Scorpio. So we've got the Pluto element here, and then we've got freaking Scorpio over here. So, all right. We are dealing with the shadow of the fixed cross because this is a stress aspect and Pluto's involved, which is a malefic. So let's walk through this. The shadow aspect of Taurus is possessiveness, scarcity. That can be like financial scarcity for sure, or just like fear of survival. Okay. The shadow of Aquarius is instability, disruptive, turbulent energies, a feeling of nervousness, icy, cold detachment. And then when we go to Scorpio, we know what the shadow of Scorpio is. This can be manipulation, power struggles, lies, secrets, betrayal, abandonment, etc. And then we have the shadow of Leo, which is not feeling special or wanting / needing attention or validation. So what we need to do with this full moon after we release whatever the hell it is we need to release, I feel that we want to bring all of these archetypes into their exalted state using the power of our intention and awareness. So the exalted state of Taurus would be finding stability in our life through actions, thoughts, and words, putting in the hard work, changing our values towards things of quality, making decisions that lead to a sense of stability, not chaos and drama. The higher octave of Aquarius would be revolutionizing our life, allowing for a new perspective to kind of bring us a light bulb moment where we work in tandem with these energies and say, I am ready to change. I am ready to totally level up in my life and try something I haven't tried, welcome a new perspective, and welcome the genius level of intelligence that Aquarius offers. Then we have the higher level of Scorpio, which is deep metamorphosis. Allow something to die. Allow a version of yourself to die, a perspective to die, a person to release that you've been clinging on to that isn't working. Or maybe it's a shadow behavior. Scorpio rules that as well, an addiction or an unhealthy habit. And then really the one we really want to focus on, of course, is Leo, because that's what the moon is in, and the full moon is in Leo, asking us to step into strength, right? Our royal selves, and have our solar plexus chakra feeling really, really strong and vital, where we feel not only safe in this world, but like we can handle what's in front of us. And obviously, with Leo, we're always looking at self-love, loving ourselves enough to know that we can handle anything because we don't need anyone else. We've got this on our own. So that would be the kind of like the cleansed and the revitalized version of all these archetypes, which are under a lot of stress right now. So you can be looking in your reality, which of course reflects your internal reality of what is showing up in the Maya, in the waking dream, that is mirroring these themes back to you. Once again, that may have been brewing since middle of August. So the reason that I mentioned the nervous system is that on January 20th, Pluto entered Aquarius. Couple of stats on that real quick. Pluto entered Aquarius. Pluto is not done with Capricorn though, and I see a lot of people on Instagram acting like it is. It's not. Pluto is going to go back into Capricorn September to November before finally entering Aquarius for good, where it will be until 2044. So we're going to be dealing with Pluto and Aquarius for 20 years. We'll have lots of talks about that. But what I want to mention right now is just that Pluto entering Aquarius on the 20th activated the planet Uranus in general, but also in your chart. And that is really what I'm concerned with right now, and what I think a lot of people are feeling. So we really want to understand Uranus as an archetype and understand what Uranus is. Uranus is a freaking alien. Uranus is out there. And his energy is out there, and it's kind of a lot for the human body to handle. Uranus rules Kundalini energy and electricity. It's like the high voltage, sort of supernatural energies that our earth body can sometimes have a little bit of a hard time working with. And this high voltage energy shifts things dramatically. So this week, things may have not, in part, they may not have gone as you thought they would. There might have been some unexpected things that came in, and sometimes this is literally just in the form of a realization or perspective. You might have been hardlining in one direction only to realize, wait a second, actually, I don't know if that's what I'm doing anymore. I don't know if that's how I feel. I don't know if that's how it's going to go. Or you could have literally had a plan change or something revealed to you. So that's happening all over the world. And once again, we're all so connected. So there's just a lot shifting around, and a lot that we're calibrating and digesting as we get used to this new energy. So it feels a little chaotic, and I got to be honest with you. We've got the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up, which we're going to definitely start to feel in March, and is going to be peaking in April. So we got to get used to this energy, and we got to kind of get used to being a little bit of a Jedi about it, but also obviously taking the care that we need to slow down and let these energies integrate, if that makes sense. If you want to know more about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April, that's what's in my webinar that I mentioned before. The other thing about this full moon is that with Pluto involved, we know that there's a big transformation happening here, and it's in Aquarius. So it's a transformation that's likely coming with a new perspective that is fundamentally destabilizing how we formerly saw things. And it's bringing up the shadow of Aquarius, which can be detachment, endings, okay? Which brings me to the tarot. So the tarot cards for this full moon, the card associated with the moon is the Five of Wands. So let's go over that first. Honestly, I mean, both cards that we're going to talk about here, I'm going to do the one for the sun, and this is the one for the moon. Both of these cards are deal with conflict, sort of. So yeah, again, not the most rose-colored full moon ever, but I'll get to why I think it's also a positive full moon in just a second. So the Five of Wands, you can see these crows here. They're in the sky. They're sort of like battling or fighting with their wands. There's a feeling of like kind of like fluster and chaos. So this is a card that can deal with like conflict, sometimes competition, tension, clashing, struggle, rivalry. It on the flip side, it can deal with truces or wanting to like end some kind of conflict. And that's what we really see with the card associated with the sun. So I'm putting that up now. And the sun is the Five of Swords. So here you see there's some, unfortunately, some crows on the ground which appear to have crossed over in their battle, which they clearly didn't win. And then there's some crows flying away from the conflict in the sky. And then we have this crow in the forefront who's like gathering up the swords. And I mean, I guess we could consider that he's the winner, but he doesn't look very happy. And there's kind of this feeling of like, what did we really win here? You know what I mean? Like, does anyone really win a battle if people have lost and died and have gotten hurt? Like, not really. So this guy, he's there's also a sense of like cutting your losses and just walking away from something that is obviously chaotic and bringing a lot of grief to the situation. So Five of Swords is a card of, again, conflict, stress, defeat, walking away, cutting losses, moving on to whatever's next and away from this mess. So these two cards, man, together, it's just like there's some kind of struggle or conflict that we are exhausted by, we're ready to get away from, that likely involves the themes of the fixed cross axis that I brought up, the Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, right? That's your full moon. And again, you got to find that inner strength, that inner stability, that ability to detach, but welcome in a new perspective and get the revelations and do that beautiful Scorpio metamorphosis to help you access the celebratory and strength aspect of this full moon, which I'll end on this. A full moon opposite Pluto, I mean, that is a strong AF Leo, right? Like, I am the master of my domain. I am strong within myself. I love myself. Hear me roar, all that kind of stuff, right? But I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of alchemy that needs to happen prior. And this is one of those spreads that this chart requires a level of mastery, to be honest, to make these energies work in your favor. And to do that, we got to stay in compassion. We have to be, again, watching our nervous systems and really leaning on higher wisdom, I think, with this chart, because if not, it could be really easy to sink down into some lower level kind of emotions. But it is kind of an emotional full moon, you guys, with the full moon square Jupiter, my lord. So anyhow, sending y'all a lot of love out there. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I always appreciate it. And if you're interested in booking a reading with me, I am taking readings at the moment. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. You can read about my readings and what I offer at my website, coyotestarastrology.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Earth2Coyote. Thank you guys so much. Happy full moon in Leo, and bye for now.